So, hi everyone, very good morning, and thanks for joining the session. This is a ice-breaking session for the people who are considering pharmacovigilance as a career. So, as we are in a virtual world now, so don't hesitate if you have any concerns with regard to the presentation, or if there are any questions, please raise up, and then you can stop me at any point of time, and you can ask any question. Am I clear? So let me just go ahead with the presentation. So I'll quickly start with an introduction. So my name is Praveen. I'm Praveen Palivala. So I'm by qualification as a M.Pharm pharmacology. I have overall 10 years of experience in the pharma industry. Initially, I started as a CRA, clinical research associate, involved in the viability and bioequivalence studies, and later on, I've worked as a pharmacovigilance scientist for quite some time, and then currently I'm leading the projects. So we're heading up a good team, and I have total 16 to 18 projects which I in hand, handling all the global pharmacovigilance services. Let's go ahead and then start. So first, rather than first going ahead directly into pharmacovigilance, first we'll see what are the different opportunities that we have in the pharma industry. So the first one is the core pharma industry. You know what is meant by a core pharma. So it will be majorly different other divisions. You will have a formulation division, analytical division, quality control, quality assurance, which will be the entire production, and then the initial, starting with the initial raw material till the formulation of the product, or then till the packing of the product, and then sending that to the market. So that will be the core pharma industry. And then the next one is marketing. Marketing, which is majorly deals with conveying or um, moving that particular product from the industry to the patients. So they act as a major role players because they are the one who will ensure that product is marketed. Even though the products are manufactured or the drugs are manufactured, if there is no marketing as such, then it would be very difficult for a pharma industry to ensure that the products are sold in that particular country or whichever country it might be. So marketing plays a major role. And then the next one is state central EIs or the government job. So this is another division where people will be looking into, either that might be B-Pharm or an M-Pharm. So we'll have our DA drug inspector options, as you already know, and then we can have our own pharmacy, which is nothing but you can start up a retail store or a wholesale distribution. So that is one other opportunity that we have. And then we have other opportunities. And next one is academia. So academia mean to say it's nothing but teaching. Most of people are who are very interested towards teaching. They will also they will look into this particular profession. So I love that teaching because that's the only reason. So I was just taking classes, even though I do my regular Monday to Friday usual job. I usually take classes to the academic students. And the next one is the Pharma IT. This is the one that we are going to talk about. So it's a wonderful industry. So you can now see the situation. So the pharma industry has struggled a bit more during the COVID situation. You all know people has to go and then manufacture or do the production on a regular basis to cope up to the requirements by the external requirement. Maybe that might be an export, or that might be an import, or the internal requirements of drugs. Example, the scenario where even Donald Trump has requested India to provide some medicines because they don't have that capacity to manufacture drugs. So When it comes to Pharma IT, I can clearly say that we don't require to be physically present in the organization. You can be anywhere, but only requirement is that you should have um, a high-speed internet connection, and then you should have a proper system in place. Then you can work from anywhere. That's a wonderful opportunity that you have. So in the Pharma IT, you have multiple other divisions, which might be pharmacovigilance, clinical research, and then clinical data management, medical writing, and we have SAS programming. So these are all the different other subdivisions that you have in the Pharma IT sector. Okay. So any questions so far? Guys, don't hesitate. Think that I'm your friend. So because I'm not going to be your lecturer, so I'll be your friend who will be happily supporting you in all your questions. And if you have any concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to me so that we can clarify, because it's a journey that we are going to do for the next 1.5 month. You need to be very much open and then let me know all your questions so that I can, yeah, sir, the PV comes under Pharma IT. Yes, yeah. So I think we got a question. Um, so it's Arva Jagan, right? Okay. So the question is, sir, the PV comes under Pharma IT. Yes. So the answer for this is yes. The PV comes under the pharmacovigilance career comes under Pharma IT sector, because it's a combination of both. You're going to have where you need to have a pharma knowledge. So because you are the people who are really you know that pharma terminology, pharmacovigilance, what is meant by drugs, what is meant by symptoms, what is meant by diseases. So you know that terminology. So you are the right people. So to be as appropriate members for this particular division. So pharmacovigilance is part of Pharma IT. Any other questions? So we will go in deep into the Pharma IT divisions and other pharmacovigilance related aspects, because once after we complete this session, you should feel that I know what is meant by pharmacovigilance. That is a major intention that I have. So don't hesitate. Feel free to ask questions. So I'll just wait for another couple of seconds and then I'll move on to the next slide if there are no questions. So did I? So yeah, Advait Jahan. So what I'll do is I'll complete the session, and then if you should feel that okay, I was completely enlightened that okay, pharma IT is part. Sorry, pharmacovigilance is part of pharma IT. So that is my responsibility. I'll do that. Yes. So there was another question from Harika. So the question is, so can we join in PV without coaching? Yeah. So this is also a very good question. Yeah. So the scenario is, so to be honest, if I say yes, you can join into the pharmacovigilance career without watching, but the only thing is the competition with the current scenario. So, example, just I'm just taking an example. Think that you got fever, and then I'm giving a powder for you and asking you to take um, three halves, which is nothing but maybe morning, evening, sorry, morning, afternoon, and evening, a small sachet with powder, and I just gave you to take it in three halves. Then it would be difficult for you. I'm not saying that you cannot do it. It would be very difficult, and you feel uncomfortable to take that particular powder as such, because once you are taking that powder into your mouth, so it will be very bitter, and you will not be very happy to take that powder, and it might not be appropriate that you take exactly three different parts or three equal parts in the morning and afternoon and the evening. But if I just change that formulation, example, if I gave you three tablets, If I gave you 3 tablets, I said that Harika, take one in the morning and then one in the afternoon and the other one in the evening. So would it be easy for you to take that particular tablet because you have that particular fever and you just want to rid out of it? So this is the same scenario. The major intent over here is you are the real, or I can say the brightest students in your class, but the only thing that we do in this particular coaching is to ensure the companies are going to consider you as the right apt or the right person for the job. So once you are enriched with some training aspects, then in the interview you will definitely present yourself in a very effective way. And if there are any pharmacovigilance related questions, because so our curriculum is completely um, built out of the job description in the organizations, because we have a good experience of nearly about 7 to 8 years in which the students were trained on this particular aspect. So that's the reason what we can do is we can we can make you as a formulation. So rather than as a powder, we just want to show to the patient or to the company that you are a formulation. That means you are ready to use in that particular organization, so that you will be readily picked up by the organizations or by the HR team, stating that, okay, this is the right person that you need. Yeah. So the next question I have is, what are the future scope of PV? Yeah, we will go through it, Renika. So we will go through that particular aspects. What is the scope of it? So how do we get job in PV, which is this from Manisha. So how do we get job in PV without coaching? Yeah, so I have already told you, Manisha. So the major discussion would be, so once you get an opportunity, so you all know, so you will be getting an advertisement or in a Naukri, that there are quite a number of opportunities that we have in PV. But the scenario is, once you are attempting a particular organization, example that might be Novartis or that might be a Accenture or Paraxel, whatever the organization may be, if once you are applying and if you are rejected, then you need to wait for at least 6 months to apply for that particular organization once again. That's a concern. So at the first shot, you should be very much prepared. You should ensure that you are well versed with the terminologies, well versed with whatever the terms or whatever the knowledge that is required. So that will be taught in this particular sessions, or that will be taught in during our training or coaching. What skills are required? Sure, Renika. So I'll be showing that particular curriculum. So what are all the skills that are required? The first thing would be a bit of knowledge on the pharma, and then your pharma degree. So majorly all the aspects like they might ask you what are all the different classification of drugs, what is a mechanism of action. So what is meant by side effect, what is meant by adverse event, what is meant by serious adverse events. So these are all the minimum requirements that they'll ask in the interview. So you need to be very much thorough with your 4 years course, which is your degree. Mean to say, that means you need not draw something like a preparation of something like maybe aspirin. So they will not ask you just draw maybe a diagram or a structure of maybe penicillin or acetyl salicylic acid or aspirin, whatever. So they are not going to ask that questions. They majorly concentrate, are you be in touch with your minimum basics of your pharmacy? That's the initial thing. And then, so in your resume, so what we are going to do is, in your resume, you are going to put down some keywords that are required. Because when a HR search in a Naukri or in any of the job portals, so because you are going to apply in the job portal, so usually they'll search with a keywords. Keyword is the word which helps to identify the required CV from that particular database. So what they'll do is they are going to search with that keywords. We are going to give you the terminology that you should include into your CVs. and that helped them to understand, okay, this particular person has done some training, and he or she might have some knowledge with regard to pharmacovigilance. That helps the fulfillment of the first step, which is first step is nothing but getting picked up for the interview, is very, very crucial thing that should be done. So the first step will be fulfilled once you have a specific terminology in your CV and how your CV should be, which is curriculum within. Any further questions? If there are no, then I'll move on. Yeah. So this is the usual, which we have already discussed. I'm not going to go through it. Yeah. Let's see what is clinical research, or else I'll just explain you what is clinical research. So you all know that the drug to reach into market, so it is taking quite some time. So usually it will take 5 to 10 years. Even COVID, even the coronavirus. So for that, you might be knowing. So it is taking quite some time for the development of that particular drug. So when we are talking about the drug development, it's a very huge industry. In 2007 itself, it was $117 billion industry, which is increasing at a faster pace. Okay, and when it comes to 2013, the cost has increased to 218, and then it is increasing day by day. It is increasing at a pace of 12% per annum on a regular basis. It is increasing quite a, yeah, huge dollar basis. So if you want to know how many clinical trials are going on, so you can go into clinicaltrials.gov. This is our website, which will really helpful to understand how many trials are going on a regular basis, on a yearly basis. So, um, so there was one question from Sibam Pati. Sibam Padi. So the question is, sir, would we get job abroad having Indian clinical research certificate? So the answer to this particular question is definitely you can get a job in the foreign as well, which is nothing but in foreign countries, US, Canada, quite a number of people, because I work with a global team, so I can see quite a number of Indians working in the clinical research industry. So the major requirement is either that might be the Indian's clinical research certificate, or whatever the certificate it may be. So it won't, the certificate doesn't hold much value. The major important is that what amount of content or what amount of knowledge that you procure from that particular training. So if you are knowledgeable on this particular activity or in this particular sector, then definitely you will get picked up in that particular interview, or that might be a job opportunity. That it doesn't mean that if it comes from India, so the people are not having a value or the requirement into that particular division. So people are quite a number of people are working in foreign world, having a certification in the respective sectors from India, because quite a number of people who are in US or in other parts of the world, they are going to do courses from India, which is online virtual classes are being done, and then they are utilizing this opportunity, and they are getting jobs in the rest of the world. So I have got another question from Renuka. So, sir, among all pharma IT courses, which is the best, or which course has more future scope? So, so this is a diplomatic question, I would say. So, the scenario is the number of job openings that you have. So I don't say that for this particular, maybe only specifically for pharmacovigilance you will have a bright future. No. So each and every division is required. So once we are talking about the individual roles, maybe once we are talking about the overall drug development, so you will be knowing which department has which role, or you will be knowing which role will be there in a specific department, in which part of a phase or which phase of the study that you will have the particular roles. So each and every role is very, very important. But the only scenario is the number of opportunities. So are there 100 jobs in the market? Are there 1,000 jobs in the market? That is a major difference that you need to look into. Yeah. So I've got one more question. Yeah. Yes. So we can list the sectors of PV. Yeah, sure. We will do that. So we are going to go through all that information. So in the upcoming slides, we will hold on for a quick minute and then we will go through the slides. And then I'll explain the scenarios. So this is the global clinical research studies that are initiated or that are running up in the different parts of the world. Yeah. So the next one is, so why should we choose a career in the clinical research? So the first thing is fastest growing segment in the healthcare or the pharma industry. So the clinical research is the fastest growing scenario because each and every pharmaceutical company are going to start their clinical research in India. Because see, now you can see the number of sites that are there in India and then the China. So when you compare that India with the China, so the number of sites in China are more compared to India because even though from a country perspective, India is a bit restricted with the clinical trials. Initially, it was more flexible, but now the scenario was different. Maybe with the current COVID situation, now they are more flexible. They are going to be flexible, and then the chances of more and more trials in India would be happening in the upcoming future years. Because once you have a chances of clinical trials, you will have more opportunities, more job opportunities, and then more chances for new organizations to start business in India. Okay, so this is an excellent opportunity, I would say, where you will have the technical skills and the management skills. Because why I say technical and the management is you are not going to leave your core aspects because you are into pharma domain only. So you will be in touch with drugs on a regular basis. So you will be knowing what is the side effect, what is meant by what are all the different side effects that the patients are experiencing, and then what are all the drugs they are using, what is the indication of that particular disease or that particular drugs that are being used. So you're not going to be away from your technical skills if you are into a different domains. Example, if you are doing a SaaS programming, excuse me. So the scenario would be majorly the SaaS programmer will work on the major data. They are not go in deep of the technical knowledge. So they are not go in deep with regard to what is meant by the different side effects. What are all the common side effects that a patient experiences when the patient is taking this particular drug. So what they'll do is they'll import the entire data into the SaaS programming and then they'll provide the output of it. So they are leaving out or they are moving away from their technical background. So after a few years, they might be well versed with the SaaS programming, but whatever that they have learned in the last years, maybe for the entire BFARM, if it is MFARM, they are going to leave that or move away from that particular technical knowledge that they have. And the next one is you have quite a number of opportunities. I'm just going to list down the opportunities that you're going to have. And then attractive compensation and future growth. So you already know. So when it is compared to the people who are working in the manufacturing industries, people working in the top MNCs will have, or the pharma IT sectors or the BPO will have quite a handsome salary. And then you'll have a different exact shifts amount of times, which is that you need to work a specific shift. And then you'll have other opportunities like abroad, chances of abroad. So I've been to US in the last year, December. So the scenario is when you get that opportunity, you will be very happy. But when you are in a manufacturing plant, it will be very difficult. So to get that particular opportunity, because you are going to work in a silos where doing a quality control or doing a quality analysis or a production. So in US, the number of manufacturing plants are very, very less. That's the reason. So India, China, and other countries will be exporting mostly the drugs to US. And a job satisfaction, because once you are getting highly paid and you are growing in the career at a faster pace, you will be happy with your job, and then you should love your job. That's the current thing. And then continuous training opportunity. So in each and every organizations, so they will provide you regular training. And then if you are aspiring to move into a managerial role, or if you are aspiring into maybe an SME role. So if you want to move on to an SME role, they will train you onto the SME role, and then if you are interested towards managerial roles, then they will be allocated with specific trainings, how to handle team, how to ensure um, the team is doing a good performance without any conflicts. So these are all the trainings that they will provide for you, and then even international opportunities that we have already discussed. So I just want to give you the list of pharma companies, so you might be knowing it better. So these are the different. I have just listed down the top companies. I have not listed all the companies list over here. So there are quite a number of pharmaceutical companies, or the pharma IT companies, who has pharmacovigilance or other pharma IT sectors that we have. So this is just to explain that you have pharma, which is in touch. You are going to have pharma always, and then you are going to be in touch with the IT sector and ensure you are a very good professional in this particular background. Yeah, here comes the opportunities, because the first question, or I got one question where um, how the opportunities will be. Can you list this down the opportunities? So this is one of a question. So So let's start with the drug development. So this is the entire workflow or the process flow for a drug development. First, you are going to identify the target, which is nothing but the disease. You are going to identify the disease in the R&D, and then you are going to check that this particular disease is occurred, or this is occurring with this particular gene, or if it is a specific organism. So that is the target, and then you are going to identify the with a absolute exact match, so which is going to hit that particular target appropriately. So it's something like a specific lead will be identified, and then that lead is going to hit the target. So this will be the initial R&D that will be done, which helps us to identify, okay, this disease is occurred to the patients with the specific organism. Example, now the current situation of COVID, where the coronavirus is the one which is causing this particular disease. So what they are going to do is mainly it is going to affect our immune system. So we are giving initially the immune boosters, and then the major organs it is affecting is the lungs. So now the target is the coronavirus, how it is getting mutated. What are all the different strains that we have? So initially we are going to identify the target, and then we are going to hit the target with a lead compound. So lead is nothing but the API, or the active pharmaceutical ingredient, or the drug that we are identifying. So this three steps: lead, hit generation, or lead, hit, and optimization. So these are all the three steps which we call as pre-discovery phase. So in the pre-discovery, these are all the three steps which will take nearly about 2 to 3 years. So now we have already the scenario where the Russians has developed the vaccine, and it was not completely effective. So the information that says that it is not completely effective in all the patients because they have tested only in the Russians and they are releasing that particular drug. In India, even ICMR is also doing some testing, and then in combination with the AstraZeneca team, they are working, and then they are going to develop the vaccine in the upcoming years, in the upcoming months, not years. Sorry for that. So initially, this is called the initial phase. The three steps are called as pre-discovery, and then you are going to have the next step, which is preclinical trials. So up to now, there is no chance for the clinical research actions or the clinical research departments till the phase one. So until the phase one is started, you will not be having any career opportunities until the phase one, because all these are the preclinical studies, which is nothing but the animal studies. Maybe people can work into the preclinical sectors where they are going to treat the animals and they are going to do an autopsy and then identify what is the how the drug is working on animals, because at the preclinical studies also you have different phases. One is a acute study, subacute study, and a chronic study. So they are going to test the drug initially in rats, mice, rodents, and then monkeys, cats, dogs. So these are the animals that they will use initially to identify the drug is having any toxicity. Because once you are planning to start clinical trials, that means you need to make sure that the drug is safe in humans, that the drug is going to be safe in humans. Until unless you test that drug in animals, you cannot say that the drug is safe. So they are going to check the entire pharmacological profile and then the toxicity and mutagenicity and carcinogenicity. What is meant by mutagenicity? So the drug will be tested in the animals to identify if the drug is having any mutation causing capability. That means mutagenic capability. So is the drug having capacity to cause mutations in animals? And then they the drug will also be tested for carcinogenicity, because people should not get cancer because of a drug. So that's a major intention, because rather than curing the disease with the help of drug, if a patients are getting affected with the drug, then that's a major concern. So what they are going to do is they are going to check the mutation capability, mutation causing capability, and then carcinogenic causing capability. So they will check for this, if this drug is causing any cancer, or if this drug is causing any mutations to the animals. So initially that will be tested, and then what they'll do is they'll test for the reproductive toxicology. What is meant by reproductive toxicology? Reproductive toxicology means to say where the animals, when they were given this particular drug, the offsprings might get affected because of this. Okay, so once this is done, then it will start with the phase one, phase two, phase three, and the phase four. So phase four, which is nothing but the post marketing. So here comes because we have the entire chances of opportunities, or the plethora of opportunities that we are going to have, the list of opportunities that we are going to have in the clinical trial sector. So the pharmacovigilance will start from phase one. So most of the people think that, most of our students say that pharmacovigilance is nothing but post marketing. So in the post marketing phase, pharmacovigilance will be there, and this is the entire activity that they'll do once the drug is released into market. So that is not a right activity or the right opinion. It's wrong. So the pharmacovigilance will start from the initial phase one of the study. So once a drug has got approval for conducting a clinical trial, there will be different divisions. So initially, you will have the feasibility team, and then who will work on the feasibility, and then the patient recruitment team who will work on patient recruitment. You will have the data management who will work on the data management. You will have the statistics, biostatistics, and then the statistics team, and then the PV team. So the pharmacovigilance team will also make sure that what are all the side effects that are experienced in the phase one, phase 2, phase 3, or the phase 4 that are reported to health authority. Let me just clearly explain you what is meant by, maybe we'll start with the definition of pharmacovigilance. So pharmacovigilance is nothing but the science and activities that deals with detection, assessment, understanding, and reporting of side effects. It is also called as drug safety. What is meant by drug safety? That means you are going to ensure that the drug is safe once that is tested in animals, or sorry, once that is tested in patients and that is released into the market. So without safety, even though it is treating the patient and then it is causing some side effects, then in that scenario, the major concept will be the risk benefit ratio. Is this drug causing more benefit, or is this causing more harm? So that is a major role play that will be done by the pharmacovigilance team, and then that the drug will be released into market. So any questions so far? Guys, are you with me? Can you just confirm by just typing as yes? If you have any questions, maybe we can hold for a couple of minutes and then we can take a couple of questions and then we can go further. Pharmaco 4. So I have a Padi, which is Simbam Padi, which is the question is, what is Pharmaco 4? So this is maybe so this particular terminology is nowhere mentioned in the pharmacovigilance division. So maybe this might be specifically to the drug related aspects. Maybe I need to check this aspect. What is the pharmacophore? Padi, I'll check this and then I'll get back to you on this. What is the pharmacophore? So, but the terminology as such was not used in the pharmacovigilance. Any further questions? Okay. Can you explain the lead generation and optimization? Okay. So lead generation and optimization. So here, this is the step number 3. Lead generation is nothing but initially you will have a big library of medicines. So what you need to do is, from that particular library of drugs, so we will check if the drug or the just a minute. Maybe I'll take the notes. So let me just show that in a page. So you will have a lead option. So you will have a list of medicines, and then you are going to do SAR, structure activity relationship. So once you have a library of medicines, you are going to do a structure activity relationship. Example, if there is a virus and then you have a protein onto it, which is a receptor, then the drug molecule which is having a higher affinity to this particular protein, they are going to check for this. So even though you have thousands of molecules, so there will be very few number of compounds which will have higher affinity with this particular receptor. So this is nothing but lead identification. So you are going to initially check from the library of drugs, from the library of medicines based on the structure activity, and then you are going to test that particular lead compound which is having higher affinity to this particular target, because this is a target and this is a lead compound. So we are going to check if this particular lead compound has higher affinity, or it is going to exactly fit with the receptor, and then ensure the other cells are not getting affected with this. Or if it is a particular coronavirus infected cell, then only this particular cell will get affected with the drug that we have. So we will use quite a number of techniques. Maybe that might be high throughput screening or other methods, because the library will be quite huge, because it will not be feasible for you to identify the appropriate compound by manually doing it. So what they are going to do is the scientists are going to do high throughput screening testing. So once this screening is done, they can identify from the huge library which compound is having a higher affinity, or which compound is having a better activity for this particular disease. And once you have that particular compound, what they are going to do is they are going to optimize it. Optimization is, maybe if we can add some more other functional group, then it will have a greater activity. Or if we have maybe an additional chlorine group or a bromine or a halogen, so if it is causing some side effect, what they are going to do is they are going to remove that particular additional functional group, which might cause a side effect. So this is nothing but optimization. That means you are going to make the drug with the help of the techniques that you have. So what you can do is you are going to design the compound with the help of techniques that we have, and then make sure this particular drug is having a greater affinity, or it is having a lesser side effect if we use this particular drug. So are you guys able to see my screen now? Jyoti, can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes, Praveen.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So any other questions? I have another question, which is, sir, PV not playing any role in preclinical trials, only role in clinical trials? Yes. Yes, Renuka, because see, the PV will play a major role at the clinical trial phases and in the post-market, because this is the greater phase, and then you will have quite some years in here. Why it is not playing a role in preclinical means, so here humans will involve, and then they are going to check the side effects or the reactions that animals are getting experienced. So because animals cannot report any side effects, because the scenario is, you even for all the medicines that you purchase, there will be a toll-free number. Or example, let me just quickly open maybe any of the site, any of the pharma industry site, and I can show you. Let me just quickly open Novartis, Novartis, and then there will be an option for reporting. So we'll have healthcare professionals. So if there are any problems, we can report that problem to this particular group. So just, just check with Dr. Reddy's, because it would be easy. Yes, here. Can you guys see my screen? Just Jyoti, can you see my screen?
It's blurred. It's black.
It's black.
Blank, blank. Yeah, we can't able to see anything.
Okay. Okay. Because I just opened up Dr. Reddy's website, where we have our medical information. sharing. So now I'm sharing the web browser. Could you please confirm if you are able to see it now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So see, I think the question is from Renuka. So see, this is the Dr. Reddy's website, medical information. So they have listed down all the countries where they are marketing. So these are the telephone numbers where the patient can directly contact and then report the side effect. They have already given the timings as well. So there will be a specific person who will be the group of people who will be sitting from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then they will take the side effects that are reported by patients or a healthcare professionals. So it is only in the clinical phase. Clinical phase, it is the responsibility of investigators. There will be physicians who will be working at site. They will report the information to the sponsor. Example, if Dr. Reddy's is conducting a trial, so it will be the investigator responsibility. You know what is meant by investigator? The person who is conducting a trial. It is his or her responsibility to report that information to Dr. Reddy's. If it is post-marketing, that means the drug is already released into market. In that scenario, it is a responsibility of healthcare professional, which is maybe that might be a physician or a pharmacist. So he or she can report the information, or sometimes maybe patient can directly call to this number and then they can provide the information stating that I have taken this particular drug and then it has caused a side effect. So once this information is received, so the process is, once you have this information, this will be processed by a team of experts. So those experts are nothing but you, because once you are trained into the pharmacovigilance and once you are into industry, so you will be given with an option called as Argus. So it's a database where you have to process the entire information into that particular database. So once the information is entered into the database, the report has to be submitted to health authority. Health authority is nothing but, in India we have a ECGI, because this is the health authority which will provide approval. If it is in clinical trials, these are the people who will provide approvals for conducting a trial in India. If it is in US, example, if it is in US, it is US FDA. US FDA is United States Food and Drug Administration. These are the people who will provide approval for conducting a trial and then for marketing a trial. If the reports are not reported, if the report, so the timelines are 7 days and 15 days. If it is a fatal case, fatal means because of taking a drug, if patient experienced a death, patient died, patient had heart attack and then he or she has died. Then in that case, it the investigator has to report the information immediately within 24 hours. The report has to reach to the pharmaceutical company, and pharmaceutical company has to report this information to the health authority, which is nothing but USFDA, within 7 days. So the time span is very, very less. Within 7 days, they need to complete the entire report and then send that report to health authority. So what they will do is they will gather the information and then they will process the entire information. What do you mean by process the information? So for reporting the the information, the patient will report all information when the patient has taken the drug, when the patient experienced the event, and then what are all the side effects that he has experienced, what are the other medication that he is taking, and for what reason the patient is taking this particular. So all these details, the patient will report to this particular call center. If it is in the post marketing, that means the drug is already in the market. And if it is in the clinical trial, it is the responsibility of an investigator, which is nothing but the site personnel who will capture all the information, and then that will be reported to health authority. That will be reported to manufacturer. Manufacturer will has to process this information into that database. Database is more or less look like a system where you need to enter the information into different fields. That means in the structural fields, you have to enter the information. And once you enter the information, it will generate an XML file, extended makeup language. So these are all the terminologies that we use. And during our training course, we are going to explain all the terminology and what is meant by ARGUS, how you need to enter information into that particular case. So I think I addressed your question. So yes. So Renuka, is your question addressed? Because we can report the information. PV not play any role in preclinical trials. So it is clear that only in the clinical trial phase we will have PV, which is pharmacovigilance. You will receive cases only from clinical trials or from post-marketing. Post-marketing is nothing but once the drug is released into market. So you are not going to receive cases from animals. Am I clear? Renuka, if you can confirm if it is clear or if you have any follow-up question. Whether the marketed drug reporting side effect will the FDA ban the drug? Okay. Yeah. So I have another question saying whether marketed drug reporting side effect will the FDA ban the drug? So each and every drug. So as you all know, each and every drug will have side effects. So the first and foremost thing is we need to check the risk benefit ratio. Let me just show you. So here comes, can you guys see this? Here is the benefit and here is the risk, or else I can quickly open the box and I can show you. So benefit is here and here is the risk. I'm going to share. So let's take an example, taking that, okay, maybe any drug which is having just take an example like yeah, cigarette smoking. Patient is taking some he is a smoker and he is taking some drug X, and then for taking this for taking this particular drug, what are all the side effects that patient experiencing is maybe he is having dizziness, and then he is having vomiting, and he is having nausea and then burning sensation. So these are all the risks that patient is having, and the benefit is, so he is once he is stopping he is stopping that particular smoke or smoking habit. That means because this drug is given to stop smoking, maybe to get rid of that particular smoking habit. So he'll be away from the respiratory diseases. He will be prevented from any cardiac related problems, and he will be protected from any cancer related problems, because these are all the benefits that you are going to get. Because once we are giving this particular drug for cessation of smoking, so the patient is going to get more benefits compared to the number of risks. So here is the analysis that will be done. By one single side effect, patient, the drug will not be released or the drug will not be withdrawn from the market. What they are going to do is they are going to assess the benefit risk ratio. In how many patients the drug is having this particular side effect? Is this because of only the drug, or are there any other risk factors that were involved, in causing death of the patient. So when they do this analysis, then the scientist or the pharmaceutical company will have a clear-cut information. Okay, this drug is causing cardiac arrest. In which patients? Is it happening in elderly patients, or is it happening in elderly patients, or is it causing this particular side effect in children? So based on that, what they'll do is they'll prepare an RMP. So the question, to answer the question, is that will not be completely removed from the market. So initially they will do the analysis. They will do this particular analysis and say that, okay, this drug is causing side effect only in pregnant females. This drug is causing side effect in only males. Then the drug will not be used for that particular population. If the drug is causing side effect in all the patients and it is purely because of drug, in that scenario where the benefit is less and risk is more, then the drug will be withdrawn from the market. So did I answer your question? PV, I have another question from Renuka Joshi. Sir, PV can also play a role in vaccine generation or trials. Yeah. So yes, Renuka. So the trials which are happening for vaccines also have safety, because even vaccine-related side effects will also be reported. So PV will also play a role in vaccine generation, because mostly vaccines will be provided to the healthy volunteers, as you know. So vaccine will not be given for the patient. So vaccine will be given to the healthy volunteers, and then the chances of side effects are a bit less. Mostly that will be a topical infection or site-related infections that will occur, and then appropriately the patients will be, or the subjects will be treated accordingly. The number of side effects will be comparatively less compared to drugs which are in the clinical trials or in the market. So I'll move back to the slides. So what are all the advantages? So I just want to talk about a bit on the advantages with regard to pharma career. So the first thing is flexible work hours. So you are going to have a flexible work hours, and then 9 to 6 or 9 to 5. That would be a very good opportunity, or a good thing that I can just tell you. And the next one is satisfactory salary. You will have a good salary, because in the pharma industries you will have hardly 6,000 to 8,000, not even 8,000. So 6,000 for BFAM, or a max of 8,000 that is provided to the people, or the new recruits who are having it. And then the um, satisfactory salary from the Pharma IT is, in Pharma IT you will have a starting salary of 15 to 18, I would say. There are some people initially they have got 18,000 per month, and then they will quickly grow at a faster pace, because so once after a couple of years, so they will move to a different organization, and then they'll get a good salary. And then you'll have a job security, because no pharma industry will revoke people, or they will remove people. There will not be any layoffs at a pharma industry perspective. And then you can work on yourself. So once you are well versed with the terminology or the process, you can work on yourself. You need not take any help from other people. So that is one other thing, and you'll have a career advancement. And then a very healthy working conditions. So you will have a corporate environment. So there will not be any humiliations or any other scenarios. So I'll move on. So this is the hierarchy. So initially you will be starting up with the safety associates. So most of the organizations you will have the designation of drug safety associate. You will be starting up with your salary from 1.5 to 2.5, and there are some organizations, example Novartis is paying for a fresher 3.5. So I'm not taking that as a standard, because that's a scenario where bigger organizations pay. But usually it will be from 1.5 to 2.5 roll band. And then once you are experienced for 1 or 2 years, you will be moving on to drug safety, senior drug safety associate, or senior processing expert. And your salary hike will be from 3.5 to 3 to 5. And then the next level will be senior safety processing expert, which will be within 4 years you will be reaching up to a package of 5 to 7.5 lakhs. And then the next level would be senior clinical safety scientist or a clinical safety scientist. And if you want to move into a managerial role, the next level would be the project lead or the project leader, and then the team manager. So there are other subdivisions which will be there. Above the safety head, there are other divisions, because just want to give some 8 to 10 years. So what would be the package? So I've already crossed this particular package limit. So I am at 18 lakhs now. I have overall 10 years of experience. So just I'm giving you that as an example, because I have started as a drug safety associate and then moved up on the ladder. And then within 10 years, the package was 18. That's a good thing, I can say. Any questions on this? So I'm done with this. So with the presentation.